my furry friend lovers. How we all doing today? First, I want to say thank you for those of you who are returning for another video of mine. Secondly, I'd like to say welcome to all of you who are new to my channel. This is Skelly by Nature. I am Skelly. Here we discuss a lot of things of natural things as in human and animal behavior. Natural food diets to help beat ailments and different types of growing and other things that pertain to natural and nature. So I want to take the time in this video today and discuss a topic that is very commonly asked of me when it comes to animals. One thing that I get asked quite a bit is, how do I stop my dog from excessive barking? We all know dogs bark and communicate and have different noises and sounds and whimpers, but sometimes that can elevate to a level where it becomes excessive. And that excessive barking has different meanings behind it as to why they are doing it. And I'm going to introduce you guys to how to understand and control the situation. So, with that being said, the first thing that we need to do when we have a dog who is an excessive barker is first we need to determine why. Why are they barking? What is it they're barking at? There's many reasons why dogs bark. There's many behaviors behind why dogs are barking. So the first thing that we need to do is figure out why. So with that, some of the examples would be, say, for warning or an alert. If your dog's inside and someone's outside, they might bark to alert you to let you know that there's somebody strange outside or somebody is outside. Secondly is fear. A lot of times I deal with behaviors like separation anxiety, which is a very common time for dogs to excessively bark. The other thing, loud noises is another thing that dogs fear sometimes. They also bark for attention. When a dog's looking for our attention, they may sit in front of you and bark. They may be looking to play. They may be looking for affection, or maybe it's dinner time, or maybe they need to go outside. Another reason for barking is boredom. If a dog gets bored and has nothing else to do, sometimes they like to just hear themselves talk. So it's a boredom thing. Another thing is responding to other dogs. In my neighborhood, we have a dog that barks in this house consistently when there's nobody around due to loneliness. And I know that when he gets excessively barking, sometimes my dogs will respond and talk to him. So that's another reason why dogs bark. And another time too, two things that we don't think about typically is health issues. Sometimes dogs are great for holding back their pain or any aches or sores that they have. But when they get to a point that they're just unbearable, sometimes dogs will bark to kind of either let us know that they're having problems, or it's also just kind of like how the same way that we groan sometimes to release a little bit of tension and pain. Another one is old age. Sometimes when dogs get into their older ages, if they're living past their life expectancies, or they have other ailments that might lead up to what is similar to Alzheimer's in dogs. It's called CCD. It's canine cognitive dysfunction, and that's another reason why sometimes dogs can bark is old age. So we got to keep those. Those are the basic reasons why dogs may bark. So I'm going to let you know, I'm not going to show you any types of training. I am going to explain to you what to do because this video might be a little lengthy. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. But if for some reason you having a little trouble after this video, feel free, contact me below or contact me directly. We can set up either a Zoom training meeting, or we can set up a standard training. I come to people's houses, I do Zoom meetings, if you need further help, or sometimes don't always get discouraged if these methods don't work. A lot of what I do is actually figuring out the best training method for your dogs. So sometimes what works for one dog might work for 5 dogs, may not work for your one dog. So if you have any problems, any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below, and I will help you as best as possible. So the second thing that I want to talk about is what not to do, okay? Sometimes we humans, we make the mistake of actually making a dog's situation even worse because we don't think about it in the same way that a dog does. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is, if your dog's barking at the door or barking at the window or you, don't yell at your dog. And here's why. And think about this. If your dog is barking at the door because somebody's outside, they're trying to give you a warning. They're basically doing their jobs. And when we as humans turn around and yell at them, we're nothing but another barking dog. So what we're really doing is we're really just adding to that behavior, and which makes them think that what they're doing is proper. So don't yell at your dog. You know, a lot of what I do training wise is I very rarely use words. I actually use body language. Dogs pay attention more to body language than they do our actual words. Dogs follow what we call micro movements. So dogs see things in our faces. They see things in our body language. So if you learn to train that way, you have actually better communication with your dogs and your animals. So keep that in mind. The second thing is, don't use corrections. Pinch collars, e-collars, hitting your dog. These are things that you don't want to use in these types of situations. One, especially if you're not a person who is accustomed to knowing how to use a pinch collar or not accustomed to how to using an e-collar. We may use it improperly, which will only exuberate the behavior or make the behavior even worse, or damage our dogs in a way as well. So this is another thing to pay attention to. The other thing too is, and I've seen this, I actually have seen this, don't think about the debarking surgery, okay? I know a guy, growing up, that he had a dog that didn't bark, and part of it was his dog was an excessive barker towards people, so he went and got the surgery done, and instead of his dog actually barking, his dog made this weird noise, and it was raspy, it sounded terrible. It actually was a lot worse than the bark. I would have rather hear his dog bark than hear some of these squealing noises that came out of his dog. But the reason is because doing the surgery does not take care of the underlying problem. Okay, so you may not hear your dog barking, but it's going to continue on with the behavior, except for it's going to be displaying a very nasty, raspy, terrible sound, which makes me feel bad for the dog. So, and on top of that, when dogs or humans go under surgery, one of the major complications with surgery is anesthesia. So keep that in mind. If it's a surgery that's unnecessary, you're putting your dog's life at risk for absolutely really no reason, except for straight laziness. So keep that in mind. If you're not willing to do the training, then you may want to rethink about having a dog yourself. And I hate to be mean, but I'm just being truthful. Like anything else, when we decide to take a dog in, there are things that we need to do as dog owners, and that's train our dogs and everything else that goes along with having a dog. So if you're going to be lazy about it, and you think that the debarking surgery is your next step, you may want to think about finding your dog a new home. I'm just being honest, people. I'm sorry, but if it hurts you or offends you, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. So the third question that you want to ask yourself before getting into doing any training or anything for your dog is determine if you want to control the bark or if you're looking to eliminate the bark. Okay, so I'm gonna go through each of the different reasons why dogs bark, and we're going to determine whether we want to control the bark or whether we want to actually eliminate the bark completely. So with controlling the bark, what I mean is if we have a dog and one of the reasons you have a dog is as protection or guarding or something like that, then we want our dogs to bark. We want them to bark and let us know that there's somebody outside. We want them to bark and let us know that there's danger in lurking in the area. But we don't want that excessive barking. So what do? Okay? So controlling the bark, we may want it as if we're looking for a warning or an alert. We also want our dogs to bark if, they say need to go outside and, we're in the living room and they need to go out the back. My dogs come up to me, they might sit in front of me and let me know. My dog Bobo knows that if I'm not fully paying attention to him, he's going to give me a bark and then lead me to the door and let me know that he needs to go outside. So those are times that, we're looking to just kind of control the bark. And same thing with old age. When your dog gets old, they start doing things, they kind of, sometimes just like Alzheimer's, we kind of revert back to being a child again. So sometimes with old age, in dogs, we kind of sometimes need to retrain. For me, I have a 16-year-old puggle, and he does do some things that he's reverted back to some of the behaviors that he did as a child. And part of it is because, he's 16 years old. We haven't done training. We haven't done any type of formal training. Outside of keeping, my normal lifestyle. So sometimes, we may need to retrain a little bit. It takes a little bit longer. Here's where you need to kind of be patient, and just go about continuous training and see what you can do with that. But, obviously be patient and show some empathy for your dog. He is old or she's old, so sometimes we have to just sometimes deal with it. It's part of old age. So when it comes to controlling the bark, there's multiple ways to control the bark. One of the things that I like to do when it comes to, say, barking or jumping or any behavior like that, sometimes is actually teach the dog the behavior. Okay, so we're talking excessive barking. So I'm going to teach my dog how to speak. Okay, so when he barks, I'm going to say speak and give him a treat. Speak, give him a treat. Barked, give him a treat. Okay, and put the word speak to his behavior, which is barking. Okay, and then the next step is what I do is I teach the command quiet. Okay, now I've said this before, and for any of you people who are new to my training or new to my videos, feel free to change your words. Use the words that you are going to use naturally, okay? So you don't necessarily need to use the word speak. You don't necessarily need to use the word quiet. Use the word that you would use in a situation where if you have to react, it's going to be the word that you use. I use speak and I use quiet. So that's what I like to do. So if your dog's, say, an excessive jumper, you teach the dog how to jump, and then you teach your dog how to relax or stand or whatever you want to do. Okay, so keep that in mind. You do what you want or whatever's natural for you. When you're doing this, give this time and be patient, and also be consistent with the training. That's very important about this. Some dogs learn at different levels. Pit bulls. As many people who own pit bulls know, you do something with a pit bull 3 times, they pick it right up, and it's in their head. Whereas sometimes if you're dealing with something like a Pomeranian or sometimes others, smaller dogs or dogs that are or self-learners or stubborn type breeds, it may take a little bit longer for your training. So keep that in mind. Give it time, be patient, and be consistent with your training. So that's one way of doing it, is actually teaching your dog the behavior and then teaching them an alternate behavior. And then once they get a hold of those behaviors and understand them, you can use the word and the commands to help control your environment or the situation. Okay? So the second way of training is what I call string training or string behavior. This is where we are going to train our dogs in a string of different things to end up with an outcome at the end. So for instance, if we have a dog that excessively barks at the door as an alert or a warning, and yet you still want that dog to do this and warn you if somebody is outside, here's one way that we can do it. So for instance, somebody's outside, your dog barks. What I do is I command them to come. When they come, I give them a reward, a food reward, a good scratching or something like that. Should give them some good attention and love, and then I have them return to a bed or go relax somewhere. And what we're doing is and you do this over and over again, and what we're actually trying to do is train our dogs to actually go to the door, bark, they're going to bark at the door, and then come to us, okay, and give us the actual warning, and then we, as humans, then take over, okay? So then we actually go take over and take control of the situation, whether it's look out the door, let somebody in the door, figure out what's going on, okay? So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to let the dog barks at the door, we get the warning, we use the word come, get them to come to us, we reward them, and then we have them go to a relaxed situation, either whether to their bed or go lay down on the couch or whatever. That way they know that once they come to us and let us know that there's an alert or a warning, then we send them to a relaxed state so that they understand that that's when we take over as leaders and we take care of the situation. It's not up to them to worry about the situation. We worry about it, okay? So another time too, where we're going to kind of use a string training is, say if your dog has attention, okay? So again, dogs bark at us for attention, whether it's they're looking to play, they're looking to go outside, they're hungry, whatever it is. What I like to do is say I'm sitting there and I'm doing whatever whatever I'm doing, and my dog comes up and barks at me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to command them into a sit and a sit stay, and then if I then will make an evaluation of what it is that my dog is barking at, whether it's to go outside, whether it's to play, whether it's affection, or whether it's to eat. What I like to do is I like to apply a actual command word. So if it's, I think my dog's looking for, a play, then what I'm going to do is say, I'm going to have a sit, I'm going to have a stay. I might go grab a toy, and I might say, want to play? And I start the play session, okay? And once I start the play session, once I'm done playing with my dog, I then will have an end word, whether it's, play over, and something like that, so that way the dog understands that play session is done and over with. That way what we're doing is we're controlling, again, the whole entire situation. Our dog's not telling us that they're not starting the play by doing that. We're redirecting the leadership by making them sit and stay, and then we're rewarding them with our attention by playing with them. Okay, so same thing with, eating. If my dog barks at me because he wants to eat, he might come up to me, he might bark at me once. I'll say, okay, you want some yum-yums? That's the command word I use for my dogs for them to know food is coming. Then I'm going to go into my kitchen. I'm going to get their food ready, put their food down, and let them eat. Once they're finished, I also use the command word as "you're done." And when that happens, I pick their bowl up, I put their bowls away. They know that dinner or breakfast is over, and they can go and do what they need, go relax or go outside and pee and poop or whatever it is. But what I'm doing is I'm always taking over the control by making them sit and stay. Then I apply whatever word or command word it is that I'm looking for, whether it's play, affection, eat. My dog Bobo sometimes will come and look at me for affection, and I say, okay, snuggle puggle time. Snuggle puggle time is just me and him curled up, and him giving me love and affection, and me returning it as well. But then I also end with an ending command word to let them know that play session or that affection that time of affection is over, and we move on. Okay. So those are the three ways that a lot of times that I work as to trying to control the bark. And if you have any questions, again, feel free, drop me a comment below, and I will help you out the best I possibly can. So the next thing that we do is, if we're looking to eliminate the bark, there's different reasons why we say don't want our dog barking. Okay, so one is fear. Your dog fears the loud noises, the separation anxiety. A lot of times that, just the fear alone is a problem behavior, because we don't want that. We don't want our kids to fear. We don't want our dogs to fear. We want them to be comfortable and relaxed at all times. And as leaders, it's up to us to either put our dogs in a proper situation so that they feel relaxed and they feel comfortable, and that they know that we're here to protect them and keep them safe. So reasons why, different times that we're looking to eliminate the bark might be, say, something like loud noises, fireworks outside, thunder and lightning, and cars, trucks. Dogs get I live by a main road, so I get semi trailers coming down the road with air brakes. You got kids playing outside, adults might be yelling. These are different times that a dog might show fear. Separation anxiety is another time dogs are showing fear. So with this situation, if you do have a dog that suffers from fear and that pertains to loud noises, I do have a video. I will post it down below. That it helps you. That goes further in depth of actual how to train for, say, fireworks or loud noises. I'll add that below so you can go to that video, and view that video, and that will help you when it comes to, say, loud noises. The second thing that I deal a lot with, that I kind of specialize in when it comes to behavioral problems, is separation anxiety. Now, separation anxiety is one of these behaviors that is kind of actually, when it comes to training or eliminating separation anxiety, in my opinion, is probably one of the hardest behaviors to eradicate. And because of this, I will be doing another video because it is lengthy. There's a lot of information that you need to know about separation anxiety and how to determine what type of separation anxiety your dog is going through, because there actually is 3 different types of separation anxiety, and each type of separation anxiety I deal with in a different way. So I will be doing another video very, very soon about separation anxiety. So if you're watching this video and that video I haven't done yet, and you need help with that, feel free, again, contact me below. We can set up a Zoom meeting or an actual training session, and I can help you there. But take a look down below, because when I do record this video of on separation anxiety, I will include that down below. So, when we're dealing with fear or separation anxiety or anything like that, one of the things that we need to do is, if we know something is happening, say for instance, it's July 4th, there's going to be fireworks, or we know a storm's coming in and there's going to be thunder and lightning, what we need to do is we need to prepare and set up our environment for loud noises. And the way we go about doing this is we set the dog up in a comforting place or a position, whether it's putting your dog in a crate where they might feel comfortable, bringing our dogs onto the couch with us and let them curl up with us so they can feel a little safe. Another way is also wrapping your dog's belly. If you watch the firework video, you'll see it's a suggestion I make. And what that does is it helps dogs just feel comfortable when they got a little tightness to their stomach. So the idea of beating fear in loud noises is trying to keep that dog's attention on us. The more their attention is on us, the less their attention is on the loud noises that are going on outside. Dogs will pay more attention to what's directly in front of them and not so much what's behind in the background. And as that's happening, we always want to reward our dogs when they do stay in a calm behavior, when they would normally be in a fear or a barking behavior. So reward that calm behavior. The reward can be food driven, it could be attention, it could be love, affection, whatever. And what we want to do is we want to continue doing this until the dog is actually desensitized and shows calm behavior with these loud noises. So that's the way to deal with fear, or fear for loud noises and things like that. So that's another way of eliminating that bark. Another reason dogs bark excessively that we're looking to eliminate barking is boredom. And this one's pretty obvious. If we determine that our dog is barking at us because of straight boredom, there's multiple ways of helping them. The first step I tell people is get them outside. Go for a walk, good run or a jog, or get them outside running around, and then bring them in nice and tired. I always say a tired dog is a good dog, and that's, again, it helps with their boredom. And the other way too is obviously new toys. Get them attached to a toy. There's plenty of toys out there that are interactive toys, which are great for dogs. Some of these interactive toys, you can set them up, you put them on the floor, and it stimulates your dog's mind. It gets your dogs moving around, and that stimulation alone will help tire your dog out. And also, obviously it's taking up their time, so they're not paying attention. They're not being bored anymore. And some of these toys and interactive toys, your dog can spend hours playing with it until they figure it out. So keeping new toys. What I like to do is I have a toy bin. It's a big bucket loaded up with a bunch of toys. And if I find that my dogs are getting bored of the toys that are out, what I do is I take those toys away, I put them in the bucket, and I might go to the bottom of the bucket and pull out a couple toys that they haven't seen in a while. And a lot of times what happens is they get re-excited about an old toy that they used to get excited about, but they don't, because it's been in front of them for weeks. So they get kind of desensitized to that toy, and it doesn't bring them joy anymore. So those are ways of dealing with boredom. Another way of dealing with boredom is look into finding them a new friend. That new friend could be, say, a dog walker. It could be a new dog. I tell a lot of people, sometimes I used to have a lot of dogs, and people say, that's crazy, how do you have so many dogs? I personally find having two dogs is actually better than sometimes one. When you have two dogs that interact with each other, they don't draw to boredom, they don't get lonely, and that sometimes frees up my time, because sometimes if I have just one dog and I feel that they're being bored or being lonely, I feel bad, so I end up taking my time and I gladly apply it to entertaining them. But if you don't, sometimes having another dog helps with the boredom. Another thing too is doggy daycare. Doggy daycares are becoming very, very popular with people. Even if you get your dog to doggy, your doggy doesn't need to go every day, but even a couple days or 1 or 2 days a week helps your dog go, and it helps with the socialization. It helps with boredom. It beats them up a little bit. Sometimes if a dog spends all day at a daycare, then comes home and might spend the next day just resting because he's tired. And that's fine. That's beating that boredom. So those are ways of beating boredom. And another thing that we, when we want to eliminate the bark, is obviously health issues. By doing, when it comes to health issues, what we want to do is we want to eliminate that bark, because if they're barking at us because they're in such pain, we obviously want to help our dogs feel better. And so the obvious answer to that is, the first thing you need to do is make a vet appointment. You can go through, touch and feel your dog a little bit, see if you notice any swelling, or if there's any soreness. If you hit a spot and they yap, then you know that there's an underlying health issue. And that's, again, if you do find something, get yourself to a vet as soon as possible, and figure out what's going on with your dog before it either gets worse, or to get an understanding of what's going on with your dog, so you can help your dog. And then what you can do is, if you do find that your dog is suffering from a health issue, and they are in pain, and that's why they're barking, then the best way to eliminate the bark is to try to just do what we can do to make our dogs feel comfortable as much as possible. Whether it's give them a nice comfy spot, put a blanket over them, keep them warm, keep them, give them the attention that you need. Take the day off from work, whatever you have to do. We all get sick. We all know what the feeling's like, and none of us like to be sitting sick on a couch by ourselves. It's always nice to have someone else with us, or someone to help us. It just makes us feel better in general. So keep that in mind. The same thing works for your dog. So the last one I'm going to talk about is response to another dog. And the reason I save this for last is because, again, this is another behavior that if our dog's responding to another dog barking or to another dog outside, we do need to determine why our dog is barking. And again, because there's different reasons why they're going to bark at another dog, and there's different ways that we need to train that, or make sure we are doing the proper training. So the first step is obviously determine why the dog's barking. It could be anticipation of play or interaction with another dog. You're walking down the street, your dog sees another dog, it gets excited, it starts barking. The reason you might want to eliminate this barking is because sometimes dogs will bark at another dog, and it might make that other dog go into fear, because they're not used to it. And we want our dogs to approach another dog in a calm behavior, not an excited behavior. That's the proper way. And so when you're dealing with anticipation, what we're going to do is we're going to use the control the bark type of way of going about training that, getting our dogs to remain calm and not get rewarded with interaction or play until they understand you remain calm, and we will reward you with play and interaction as long as you approach that dog without barking and you do it in a controlled manner. The other reason a dog might be barking at another dog is fear. So again, I'm going to use walking down the street. Your dog's walking, it sees another dog. Your dog might be a little fearful of dogs, so they might start barking at it excessively. We don't want that either, because now what we're going to do is your dog is going to put the other dog into possibly a fear behavior as well. Now you have two dogs that are kind of fearing each other, which usually isn't going to end in a good manner. So when you're dealing with fear, you're going to want to look towards and follow the directions of eliminating the bark. That way we, again, let our dogs get our dogs into a calm behavior. Hopefully we eliminate the fear out of our dog, and hopefully in time what we can do is get our dogs to, once we eliminate that fear, they then can get the reward and excitement of interacting with another dog. The third reason that they might respond to another dog is being territorial. Sometimes dogs, whether they're in our homes, even on a walk, if we're walking our dogs and our dogs control the walk, then what we're doing is if our dogs go into a territory, they're seeing another dog and they're looking to protect us, then they go into what we call a territorial bark. If this is a problem that you're having, say your dog pulls on a leash or is pulling you around on the walk, I will include my video down below on how to properly train your dog to walk on a loose lead. That way you control the walk and not your dog. And so when it comes to territorial barking, this is a behavior that a lot of times will end badly, because our dog is looking to protect, and if another dog approaches, their reaction is going to be to bite, to fight, to something, but not good. And so when this happens, what we need to do is we need to kind of step back. We need to start applying what I call leadership skills. We need to now regain control. We need to let our dogs know that we control the environment, that we're not going to walk us and our dog into an environment that's unsafe, and that's up to us and not the dog to pay attention to. And so you need to apply leadership skills. If you don't understand or know what leadership skills are, feel free, drop me a comment below. We can set up a consultation, whether it's on a Zoom meeting or whether it's in person. Leadership skills is something that I work with you, the human, directly. It has nothing to do with training your dog. It's me training you how to be a leader. And there's things that we do that we need to gain control of leadership. So if you don't know what leadership skills are, and you don't know how to use them or anything else like that, then I highly suggest consult with a professional, whether it's me, whether it's somebody else. Just do what you need to do to understand leadership skills. And again, I've said before, I do offer Zoom training, so this is something that if you feel you need some extra training or help, feel free to contact me below, and I'll get in touch with you and we can move on from there. So with all this being said, these are ways that we can control excessive barking. If this is a video that you've enjoyed, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. If you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed already, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button down below as well as share this with everyone, friends, family, other dog lovers or animal lovers that you know. The more this gets out, the more people know, and the more people can have happier lives with better behaved dogs. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next video. And until then, be beautiful, be awesome.